welcome to Guide to the Unknown. I'm Kristen.
I'm William.
And we're back to tell you about spooky things once again.
That's right. Welcome to 2018, y'alls.
Yep. Nice to see you here.
Guide to the Unknown in a brand new year.
Yeah.
With a brand new style.
Yes, that's right. Guys, we have new logos and stuff. And you're not going crazy. The theme song is dropped down
it's dropped down a pitch.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit darker and scarier.
Yeah, something felt like slightly amiss about the theme song to us. Just like a little. Like something could be improved.
Yeah.
And William tooled around.
We've made some alterations.
Yes, we've made some alterations. And then William makes all these logos and everything, which is awesome to me. And we made the logo for the show originally before we ever recorded the show or anything. And it ended up being like the logo was a little bit more dark and horror-y than we really are. We want something with a little bit more weirdness and energy.
Yeah, so there's a little more lightness, a little more energy.
Yeah, because that's what...
A little more fun.
Yeah.
Fun in the horror.
Yeah, exactly. So now our logos belie that fun in horror.
So if you go check us out on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, on any of your podcast apps, YouTube,
I'm pretty obsessed with it.
We're going to update it 100% everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, so enjoy that.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Let's jump right into it.
Let's do it.
Kristen, it's time to get spooky.
Let's get spooky.
Yeah.
Okay.
You want to flip a coin?
Sure. Do you have a coin?
No.
Oh, okay.
All right, heads or tails?
Tails.
All right, I picked heads.
Okay, so you go first.
I'll go first.
Perfect.
Everyone knows.
Yeah.
Everyone knows how that works.
That's how we flip coins in the Rogers family.
Yes. Imaginary coins.
That's a Rogers family flip, they call it.
So, Kristen, what I have for you today is stupid.
Great.
All right? It's a monster that I've been curious about for a long time.
Okay.
Back when Guide to the Unknown was just a twinkle in my own eye.
Yeah,
Years ago, I had looked up this monster, seen its name on a screen, and thought, I'm going to have to look that up someday.
Oh, great.
And that day is today.
Today?
Kristen, for damn near, 60 years?
Yeah.
About 60 years. There have been...
Is that as long as you've been interested in this monster?
Yeah, I'm a lot older than
for
you
damn
think.
near 60 years, I've been waiting to talk about this.
There have been sightings
Okay.
of creatures that appear to be about 4 feet tall.
Okay.
Which stand awkwardly on their 2 webbed feet. No one knows what they want. No one knows how many of them there really are. I'm talking, of course, about the Loveland Frogman.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't know about this at all.
This is a strange sort of monster sighting. You can think of it just like a lame Bigfoot.
Okay.
Where there are like, I think I can literally document for you every single sighting of the Loveland Frogman right now. There are not many.
Yeah.
But it's all people seeing this frogman creature.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it's like they blink and it's gone.
Huh.
Although there is one very peculiar story of an encounter with him. But so what it is, it's in Loveland, Ohio.
Okay.
That seems to be its locale. That's where it lives.
Yeah.
It's where it's always been sighted.
They're native to that area.
And it seems the legend first began in May of 1955, though
don't touch me, go ahead.
some people dispute which actual month it was seen in.
Oh boy.
If
that's indicative of this story, we're in trouble.
Yeah, we're in big trouble.
The mystery is, was it May or April?
Chris, this thing could have been June. I don't know what's going on out there. So, the original legend of the Loveland says, a traveling salesman was driving late at night when he spotted 3 frog-like men standing on the side of the road beneath a bridge.
Wouldn't you just die?
It makes me wonder, though, like, I kept reading it knowing that I was talking about literally a frogman.
Right.
Like, if you think of, like, Battletoads.
Yeah.
Or almost like
Battletoads.
Ninja Turtles, but frogs.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I've been picturing. But also, every time I read Ugly Frogman, I just think of somebody who looks kind of like me.
Something kind of... No,
and they're like, I saw a hideous toad man. He was disgusting.
What about you looks like a toad or a frog?
I don't know. It just sounds like an insult for an ugly man.
It does. It'd be like Umbridge from Harry Potter.
Yes,
Yeah.
toad-like.
Yeah.
Yes, you're exactly right.
Yeah.
The businessman watched as the figures conversed for a while. That's what it says. He just stood there watching these frogmen talk to each other.
Oh, God.
Each with leathery skin and a frog-like face.
This does sound like it's just describing ugly people.
Yeah. Although, here you go. They had webbed hands and feet.
Okay, there it is.
And deep wrinkles in their heads.
Ooh.
Then one of the creatures held a wand over its head, firing a spray of sparks.
That's awesome. Was this a late night coming home from something?
I'm thinking maybe a few cocktails.
Yeah, what's going on here?
We're talking about the 50s, a traveling salesman?
Yeah, exactly.
What was he up to?
Yeah, he just had a business meeting with a couple of business martinis or whatever.
I need more merchandise. Yeah. I just need more of the merchandise. The salesman fled the scene.
Wouldn't you?
Yeah, but like that's one of those things where it's like, you think about the idea of there being humanoid animal hybrid things. Yeah. Right? Like I'm sure that there are legends about every a mole man.
I'm sure.
I bet there's an actual mole man legend who's half man, half mole.
But maybe we'll find out.
Peeping at you in the dark.
Are there crocodiles?
Are you there? I just can't see you very well. I'm a mole man.
Are there like crocodile people legends? Probably.
Yeah. I mean, there are legends about crocodiles that have grown to gargantuan size in the sewers of New York.
Like in Rampage. Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. I forgot that's the thing. Or in Rampage, that movie, which I will never see. Ever. You couldn't pay me.
I can't believe they turned that campy video game about humans that turn into giant animals and destroy a city into a very Transformers-ish, kind of upsetting movie about Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
It looks like such a bummer. It's all about animals who like don't understand what's happened to them. Yeah. Being like shot by humans and stuff. Yeah. They don't mean to be destroying the city. They don't have like a bad motive, I bet. They just got
they're just scared
like,
animals.
Roided up. It's like
roided up.
So upsetting.
They're scared and angry. So Rampage now the movie, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
To Ryan, like it seems like it'd be such a fun movie. It's like, Rampage, that video game would be some goofy thing. Yeah. It's like like a bleak horror movie or not horror movie, action movie.
The Rock is friends with a gorilla that he does sign language with to talk to him.
Yeah, named Fred.
George.
Oh, okay.
Nice try.
Thank you.
Although that was like a Weasley thing. You went to the other twin.
Oh, yeah.
He gets exposed to some sort of a toxic, vapor that makes him grow in size and in anger. His anger grows.
Yes, and it's really sad. He's like he's like scratching himself and made me tear up a little bit.
And the Rock's going, "You're scared."
I know.
And doing sign language at him. And then he talks to his scientist and he goes, "Tell me what's happening to my friend."
I know. And then
I was a bit too far.
I was glad that happened because it took me back.
Yeah, where you're like, well,
I was like, oh, too far.
Tell me what's happening to my best friend.
My friend.
Yeah, like maybe you would become, maybe Jane Goodall would say she became friends with those gorillas, but it's weird for her to be like, I'll be visiting my friends.
You don't say
What's happening to my friends?
You don't say
what did you just say about my friend?
It's just like so transparently, like, I don't know, to make The Rock a good guy who's connected to him. Nobody would say that.
It's enough for him to just be like a kind-hearted
What's
zoologist.
happening to George?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and
what's
wanting to
happening
protect
to my monkey?
Because he runs a habitat or something. He wants them all to be okay.
Yeah, I love The Rock.
I do too. That's like a perfect trailer, though. I think if I never saw another frame of Rampage, I think that's a perfectly made trailer.
Why?
They use
it turned us off completely from wanting to see it.
No way. That's a perfect trailer. They play.
You want to see that?
No, I'm telling you, the trailer is exactly enough. I don't need anything else.
But then, for their purposes, that is not perfect because you shouldn't feel that way. A trailer's like a commercial to go see the movie,
I guess. But it's got Henry Dean Morgan.
Oh yeah,
who is from Walking Dead. It's Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
Yes, it's Harry Dean Stanton.
Yes.
Okay.
And I said Henry.
Yeah.
But so Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
That is right. That is right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who's on Walking Dead playing Negan right now, who's like a very sort of Cajun being like, guess what I just did, Rick? I rolled in here and I killed half your men.
Do you watch Walking Dead?
I've watched a lot of clips on YouTube because I like him.
I love him.
I like him a lot.
Yeah.
And so he in the trailer is going like, what? You didn't know about the 20-foot long wolf?
He's such a good bad guy.
He's such a good bad guy. And then The Rock's like, you shouldn't put that monkey on that plane. And there's a shot of Jeffrey Dean Morgan going, I have a feeling we'll be all right. And it's just this like shit-eating grin of like, you're an idiot and I'm in charge here that like works so well.
Yeah, totally.
And then they play Despite all my rage, I'm still just riding. Despite all my rage.
Yeah, but it's like a weird remix.
And it goes like, go, 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 with the bullets of guns. It's perfect. It's like if they put that trailer in a time capsule, people will dig it up in 100 years and be like, this is exactly what movies were like in the 2010s. This trailer is the perfect 2010s movie trailer.
I'm still not understanding what you think is perfect about it. You just really enjoy it?
I really enjoy it, and I feel like it's like a very cartoony distillation of what all of our trailers are like. You know, like
kind of. Yeah.
Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle. They play Welcome to the Jungle.
Yeah.
And then it goes like, gonna bring it to you. Sha-na-na-na-na-na. Go, 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 go.
Oh, yeah.
Bullets. Right. Knees.
Now that's the perfect trailer.
You take old music and you time it with bullets from guns.
Yeah, well, true. But also, that song doesn't really work for it besides just tonally because it's an aggro song.
Yeah.
Bullet with butterfly wings, because the rats aren't in the cages. So that bugged me when it came on. Despite all my rage, I'm still just a rat in a cage. I guess they are out there, baby.
They're out of it, but that's why they're I guess, you know what? No, because they're still under the thumb of somebody who's trying to control them, to study them, to dissect them.
That's true.
You know?
Yeah, you make a good point.
They deserve to rampage.
Oh, they completely
Gorillas deserve to rampage through the streets.
No, we should not have messed with them like that.
Yeah.
Negan needs to watch it.
He does.
Did you see that first episode?
It says that on Walking Dead.
I don't watch it, but Ryan watches it. Did you see that first episode that he's in where he like messes everybody up?
Yes, and I did not like it.
That was disturbing. Like,
I don't like that show.
I don't either. I mean, I tried to watch it and I just didn't get into it. I don't even know if Ryan really likes that much anymore. I think he's just kind of in it. I think he said it's not that good now. But I was paying attention-ish when that one episode was on because Ryan and I were staying at a friend's beach house. And so we're just like hanging out together. And he was like, it was the premiere that night and it was like a big deal. It was like at the height of it. And he was like, do you mind if I watch this? Because it's going to be spoiled and everything. I was like, yeah, it's fine. So I was just like on my phone while it was on. And I just was looking over. And I'd be like, oh my God, what is this show? Like I saw when like that guy's eye was bulging out or something. Oh my God, it was so upsetting. And then The Talking Dead was on after, and everyone was just like shell shocked. They were just like, wow, well.
Yeah, it's not fun. It's not a fun show.
It was horrible. And like, he's going to make a kid like cut his dad's arm off or something? I don't remember.
Oh, I don't even know about that. I think he's the only good thing to come out of that show from my perspective at all. I think that show's boring. I watched the first 4 episodes and I wasn't interested.
Yeah,
I like zombies.
Yeah,
like I'm interested in zombie stories. I just feel like they're telling the most generic possible zombie story.
I don't even remember what I thought about it. I just wasn't into it.
At least now they have some guy that's just kind of like, what are we going to do next? And it's kind of exciting.
The charisma coming off that guy is ridiculous.
Absolutely.
I love to watch him on things. He's the dad on Supernatural.
I know, but he left after like an episode or something.
Oh, really?
I won't go back.
I'm still like not far in it at all. I've still only seen like 5 episodes.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
All right.
He hasn't even really shown up yet. He was in like a flashback or something.
Oh, really? Yeah, I think he's like barely in that show.
I don't know if that's true because I know a girl who's like super duper into Supernatural, and she like went to a con that was in New Jersey. It was like a Supernatural con, and he was there. So I'd be surprised if he's like that iconic and integral to the show and was like not in it at all.
I could be wrong. I remember them being like, yeah, we'd love to have, if Jeffrey Dean Morgan has availability, we'd love to have him back on the show. And he's been like, yeah, I'd love to be back on your show. But
maybe
I think it's more like, you know, because he's a beloved character on that show, he can be like, if only I could, but I'll go to this convention and sign autographs for like $40 a picture, you know? Or
maybe he really likes Jensen Ackles and Jared blah, 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 and wanted to hang out with them at a convention.
Yeah, maybe.
I guess his character is a big enough deal to the plot that even if he's not around, it's still like, it's the dad.
Right,
because they're like searching for the dad or something.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, anyway.
So back to the Loveland Frog, because remember, there's a frogman. Despite all my rage,
I'm still just a frog in a pond.
Well,
poor frog never gets to act on his rage.
Just a happy little froggy.
I guess I have to stay around a lily pad.
So the original legend was from 1955. And it's a frequently disputed story. There are like multiple versions of that story.
Yeah.
However, then we get into documented sightings.
Okay.
But our story jumps almost 20 years.
Yeah.
March 1972.
Okay.
All right. At 1 a.m., Loveland officer Ray Shockey was patrolling Riverside Drive near Toad's Boot Factory.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Oh my God. That's like from last week.
Check out the Boot Factory. Over and out.
It's Toad's Boot Factory?
Totes. Totes.
Oh, I thought it was TOAD. And I was about to say that's like last week with the whole Omen thing. Like you looked up and it was like OMMEN was on the road sign. There was a 666. I was like, maybe this stuff is just getting in your head.
Or it's like a were-frog. It's a man who turns into a frog some nights and they're like, Mr. Toad who runs Toad's Boot Factory? It couldn't be him. He's like, no, I'm not the frog man. You're looking in the wrong place, my dear officer. He eats a fly off the wall, and the cop only sees it out of the corner of his eye, and he doubts himself. Yeah. I didn't see that. So Officer Shockey is patrolling when an unidentified animal scurries across the road in front of his vehicle.
Huh.
The animal was fully illuminated in the car's headlights. Officer Shockey described the beast as 3 to 4 feet tall, perhaps 50 to 75 pounds, with leathery skin.
Yeah.
He reported the animal, quote, crouched like a frog. Don't you think you'd be able to just be like, it looked like a frog?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, I noticed a frog would scurry.
Scurrying around?
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, if a frog had wings, it wouldn't bump his ass when he hopped. You know that?
Yeah, I know that.
I should say I learned English from the Police Academy movies. Name the movie. No one got the other one right, by the way. My body is a roadmap of pain.
Oh, did anybody guess and it wasn't right?
Yes.
Okay.
Some people guessed Hellraiser. It's from The Frighteners.
Oh, that's right. I did see that.
With Michael J. Fox.
Yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Anyway, now tell us what, if a frog had wings, he wouldn't bump his ass when he hopped. What's that from? Aside from the Police Academy movies.
Is that actually in the Police Academy? Okay.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
Anyway, this thing was crouched like a frog before it momentarily stood to climb over a guardrail to get to the river. All right?
All right.
So now Shockey's telling this story all over the place. People are familiar with it.
Yeah.
But no other sightings until 2 weeks later.
Oh.
When now Officer Mark Matthews reported seeing an unidentified animal lying on the road in the same vicinity as where Officer Shockey was citing.
It's unusual that these are cops reporting it. You know?
Yeah, it is weird.
Weird.
You know, you think that when you hear some random sighting from someone that's like, well, there I was just poking the ground with a stick at 3 a.m. and I saw the beast.
Right.
Then I saw the brute. You're like, well, you know, how reliable is this guy? What's he doing in the woods at 3 a.m.? But a cop, you're like, no, you know what? They need to be reliable. Like,
right.
Maybe this
it does lend it some credibility.
Science fact.
Yeah.
So Matthews approached the beast, which appeared to be hurt.
Oh.
Suddenly it lurched upward and into a crouched position. Oh. Startled, Officer Matthews shot the animal dead.
Oh, okay. So where's the mystery?
And put the body in the trunk of his car to show Officer Shockey.
Okay. I won't interrupt. Go ahead.
The thing was half dead anyway when I shot it. He is quoted as saying. It's a quote from him. I'm sure he speaks better than that.
Maybe not.
According to Matthews, Officer Shockey confirmed the dead creature was, in fact, the same beast he had seen those 2 weeks before.
Okay.
Matthews relived his story and told it to an author writing a book about urban legends. It was evidently published and told the story of these two brave officers and the time they encountered the Loveland Frog. Also, additionally, the guy who was writing that book of urban legends conveniently left out the part where they found out it was an iguana.
My God.
With no tail. And they think that maybe it got loose or that it got too big and somebody let it go free.
What?
Yeah. It was
iguanas get that big?
Evidently.
Yikes, that's scary.
That's a big iguana.
Yeah, that's like a dragon.
What, you didn't hear about the 50-foot iguana? Spite on my rage. Okay. We're going to get demonetized because I'm singing that song so well.
Oh my God. I know.
Yeah. That I'm really smashing pumpkins. All right.
So mystery solved, basically, right?
Well,
okay. Okay.
Who's to say?
You tell me.
The story then faded into, lore and myth.
Right, because they found, I don't know even why it was lore, because it sounds like it was an iguana.
Just because they saw an iguana doesn't mean the real guy's not out there. Right? So in August 2016...
Aren't those 2 of the 3 sightings of the Loveland Frog or whatever?
Yeah.
And 2 out of 3 said that it was an iguana.
Kristen.
So there's just the one guy who said that he saw 2 frogmen talking on the corner, and one, like, lifted its hat and sparks shot out or something? What happened?
I think he tipped his hat and sparks shot out at the top of his head. That's no more ridiculous than what they say actually happened, which is that one of the frogmen held a wand over his head and shot sparks.
That's right.
Which is so insane. I think that's where we started going off on a tangent, because I was saying, I'm sure there are a million
really
stories about human-animal hybrid creatures.
Yeah.
But they don't then have an additional apparatus where it's like, why does he need a wand?
Really gilding the lily.
What is he then? Like, is he... What is
He's a magician frog?
Yeah, I don't understand.
I really like this.
Although that's starting to sound like, what is it, like Franklin Frog or whatever from the CW, from Looney Tunes?
Was it like Phineas T. Frog or something?
Or something with his top hat.
Yeah.
And he has that cane.
Oh,
Does he have a
right.
magician's baton that he twirls?
No, he dances, so he has a cane.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
He's the Loveland Frog.
Isn't he supposed to be some sort of like racist caricature?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So now
I think he's doing a dance that's not cool.
So now we jump to August 2016.
Yeah.
Kristen.
Oh, yeah, I just
barely over
that.
a year ago.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
A local Cincinnati TV station, actually many Cincinnati TV stations, reported that, quote, a night of fun turned into a chilling tale of horror.
Sweet.
When 2 teenagers playing Pokemon Go claimed to see a giant frog near a lake. It reportedly stood up and walked on its hind legs. Here's an actual quote from a boy named Jacob or something. We saw a huge frog near the water. Not in the game. This was an actual giant frog. Now, there is a frog Pokemon.
Yeah.
Water type. Powerful stuff. I took a couple of pictures and a video because I'd never seen one that big.
Wow.
Now, I've seen the pictures.
Boy.
Kristen, I've seen the pictures.
Yeah.
Chilled me to my very core.
Oh, my God. Almost like you were an amphibian with cold blood.
Yeah. I think it turned me into a frogman just looking at it. But only for a minute. I blinked and I was back to normal. It's a blurry thing, and it's like eyes kind of glow in the dark. I'll embed the video in this video somewhere if you guys want to watch on YouTube, and you can see the pictures and stuff in the YouTube version as well. Otherwise, just Google it. The headline on Snopes,
so funny,
which confirmed that this story at least was reported.
Yeah,
was Loveland Frogman spotted again, and then I love this subtitle, this subheadline or whatever. The man who shot and killed a mysterious and legendary creature called the Loveland Frogman in 1972 says, that's impossible. Which implies that, like, that cop that shot that iguana is saying, it couldn't be.
Yeah. Could it?
I killed him 40 years ago.
Right, like the Loveland Frog existed, but I dispatched him.
Yeah. How could he be back?
I love this.
It isn't real. This can't be happening.
Everything just starts spinning around this guy when he hears the story. He's just unmoored.
I'm losing my mind. All right, and the final thing I have, believe it or not, the story is already done on the Loveland Frog. I'm not kidding.
No,
I've been looking
surprised.
forward to this for like a year and a half.
Yeah. Are you disappointed?
A little bit. I thought there'd be more to it because the way that I saw, the fact of the matter is, in my free time, I tend to sometimes just look up monsters.
Yeah.
So
I mean, this show wasn't born for no reason.
Yeah. The Loveland Frog, a.k.a. Loveland Frogman, came up in my research so many times.
I've never heard of it before.
But it's so nothing.
Yeah.
So nothing.
Sometimes these things are. I mean, I think it...
I'm happy
really
to report
like
it here. Yeah. So the final thing that I have...
Yeah.
There's a science fiction novel called The Man from Primrose Lane.
Ooh.
All right? Uh-huh. This is on the Frogman Wikipedia. I don't know if it should be.
I don't know why this makes me... I don't know why it makes me laugh.
I don't know
Go
if
ahead.
it should be on the Wikipedia page for Frogman.
Okay. I actually have kind of a similar thing in mine where I'm like, this isn't really it, but it comes up constantly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Author James Renner says that what frogmen
James
actually
Renner.
are, not James Remar.
Wait, who? Oh, I know who James Renner sounds familiar, though. Go ahead.
Says that all frogmen are actually humans that have traveled back in time.
Wow.
Now, Kristen, the reason why a human, you or I, traveling back in time would turn us into a frogman is because when you travel back in time, you get covered. Let me finish this before you say anything.
Yeah.
Because when you travel back in time, you get covered in a layer of feces during years of hibernation. And the reason you walk all weird like a frogman is because your muscles have atrophied. Now, I think that would just mean you'd look like a dirty human.
Yeah. Yeah.
But who am I to say that James Renner is wrong? Maybe getting covered in feces for years turns you into a frogman.
Oops, sorry.
Pretty cool. Pretty cool book.
Very cool.
The man from Primrose Lane. It's a nude frogman covered in feces. And then I fell in love with the man from Primrose Lane.
Okay, so
wash me.
Please help me. The reason I reacted like that, and I was right. That guy James Renner wrote a nonfiction book about the case of Maura Murray, which is a really, really famous missing persons case. Oh. And he has theories that the family was very unhappy with and seem inaccurate.
Oh,
so
really?
He seems like kind of like a weird, like, crackpot's not quite the right word, but like a weird dude. And I imagine if the family was looking into him and they saw that, they're just like, see?
I told you he was weird.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, weird.
Yeah.
Wow, you just knew that off the top of your head?
Yeah. I watched a documentary about that not that long ago, and he was in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh, interesting.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, that is the story of the Loveland Frog, a.k.a. the Loveland Frogman, which may in fact be 3 frogmen who are just standing around talking on the side of the road. Like, what are they up to? What is their motivation if they're just like, what do you want to do next? What do you have to later?
That's what's so funny. It seems like they're benign thing. They don't seem like they're trying to hurt anybody.
Yeah.
They're just...
Hey, there's a guy over there.
Yeah.
Hi, yeah.
Except for...
Sparks.
Just shoot sparks up in the air.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Good stuff.
Okay, so mine this week is, I guess you would say, like a category of ghost.
Ooh.
Called Women in White. Or sometimes they're called like the White Ladies, but I'm going to refer to them as Women in White because that just sounds like white ladies, like the race white people.
I almost picked one of these.
Really?
Yeah. Is there one called La Llorona?
Yes.
I almost picked
and that's exactly what I was about to say. She's not really a woman in white. She's more of a weeping woman.
Oh, okay.
But she's always getting lumped in with the women in white for some reason. So I guess she kind of is. But things that I read, she would come up, but they'd be like, actually, she's more like this.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so then why did you include her?
Right.
But I figured I would mention who she is, or else people would say to us, like, oh, why didn't you include La Llorona?
And I think that's why these things typically end up on Wikipedia, because popularly, somebody might have been like, well, you didn't talk about the man from Primrose Lane.
Yeah.
You're like, well, that's because I don't really consider that to be a frogman adjacent story, but because everybody thinks it is, we may as well put it in there to satisfy everyone.
Yeah, it's exactly that.
Yeah.
Okay, so women in white are these ghosts who show up, and they're women wearing long white dresses. They almost always have a backstory that revolves around the loss of a child or children and or the betrayal of a lover.
Oh, my.
Yes. They're almost always like on roads, like hitchhiker themed, or they just appear in the middle of the road. So a lot of the stories are just kind of like not super duper interesting. You'll just be like, yeah, if you drive down Highway 529 at night, all of a sudden there'll be a woman in white who appears in the middle of the road and you drive through her. Like a lot of them are just like that. It's like if you drive past the spot, you see a woman in white. So I chose some of them that I thought were the most interesting to go through. And so let's see. Oh, so first I'm going to tell you the exceptions to those things. Because the ones I'm going to go through are kind of like road-based, like typical stuff, but there are some exceptions to the rule. And women in white are like an international phenomena.
Okay.
I don't know, whatever. Sometimes they're vengeful, but a lot of times they're just kind of residual hauntings. Like they're just kind of like playing through the stuff that happened to them in life, which is always their mourning stuff. Nobody's ever playing through the time that they went to like a really sweet concert. It's always just like somebody walking around, just kind of like, searching for their lost child or whatever.
I love ghosts. I love that it seems like there are sort of half-baked rules for how certain ghosts are made. I love that. I love the idea that the trauma of whatever happened to these women is something that gets somehow recorded in space and time.
Yeah, it's exactly that. Yeah, and then it just plays on a loop, and they're just playing that out.
It's fascinating.
Forever. I know.
It's so scary. It's like in Star Wars when Leia records herself going, "Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi," and R2-D2 can like play that, and it's a little hologram on a table. It's as if there's just like a hologram of this moment of suffering playing at these certain like latitude, longitude things, and if you happen to be there, you're going to be in it.
Yeah, you're going to stumble into this play that's happening without you.
Yeah, it would. Maybe it would be happening anyway.
Yeah,
maybe like if a tree falls in the forest, doesn't make a sound. Maybe if there's no one around, there's still someone being like, "You have to help me, my baby," and running away, but there's just no one there, and no one sees it, and it's not recorded.
That's freaky, because I was going to say, I would think that it would be just kind of like happening without anybody, but I wasn't thinking about the interaction part of it.
Right, yeah.
So like then you're saying that it could just line up perfectly every once in a while where there is somebody driving by right at the right time where they're like, "My baby."
Yeah.
And maybe. Yeah. It's freaky.
I love ghosts.
Yeah.
Very upsetting.
Me too.
It's also weird that there are like recipes for how to make them. That feels like
what do you mean?
What I'm saying of like, if this happened to a woman and it happened on the side of the road, bam, you're going to end up being one of these women in white.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I have a question about whether they wore white or if that's just an interpretation in the afterlife.
Or if it's just, I know. I guess, is every ghost a blah, blah, blah in white? Because we think of ghosts as being wispy white smoke.
Well, they're wearing white dresses, literally.
Oh,
the women in white. Yeah.
You know what? Maybe if there are ghosts and stuff, and if it is this certain stimuli that turns you into a woman in white, maybe there's like this weird, like, law of the universe about like they are innocents.
Yeah.
This has been done to them, so therefore they wear white. A sort of weird ancient sign of purity and goodness.
That's exactly what I was thinking, is that it's kind of like a symbolic thing.
Yeah.
But sometimes they're not innocent. Like sometimes, like the thing with the dead children stuff is that like a lot of the stories are where they want to marry this guy and she already has kids and he doesn't want kids, so she drowned her kids.
Oh.
You know what I mean? So they're not always like innocent.
Yeah. Interesting.
So that's where it loses that thread of like white symbolizing purity or whatever.
Right. That's always applied.
Yeah. So
Interesting.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Are there stories about people being like, I'm going to make a bunch of ghosts? Like, I know how to make a bunch of people into this kind of ghost. I think we talked about it with Banshees a little bit.
That sounds kind of familiar to me.
Didn't we say something about Banshees where there would be somebody being like, I'm going to take all these old washwomen and torture and kill them so they'll come back as Banshees? I don't know why it would be advantageous.
Yeah.
You'd have to come up with a cool story of why it's advantageous to turn somebody into this specific kind of ghost.
Right.
But the fact that like it seems like you could just manufacture this set of circumstances.
Yeah.
Bam, you got yourself a white woman.
I know. That does.
A woman in white.
Right. That does sound familiar. Like, I don't know. We'll have to look it up.
Manipulating the dead.
Yeah. Or manipulating the living to make them become a certain kind of dead that you're looking for. That is interesting. It's a cool idea if it's not already a thing. Okay, so in German and Dutch folklore, they have women in white, and they're not exactly the same sort of thing where it's a woman on the side of the road, but it's still a cool thing that's in the realm of the spooky, so I thought I would mention it.
Oh, the realm of the spooky is a better name than Guide to the Unknown.
Oh, man.
Realm of the spooky.
The realm of the spooky. Oh, crap.
Too late.
Yeah. Oh, well. And we just redid our logos.
Why us?
Okay. So it's interesting. In German folklore, these women that I'm about to mention were actually meant to be known as wise women, but then a Dutch translation translated it wrong into white women.
Oh.
And so they became commonly known as white women. And these are nice. So they're described as beautiful and enchanted creatures who appear at noon and can be seen sitting in the sunshine, brushing their hair or bathing in a brook. How nice does that sound?
That is nice.
They may be guarding treasure or haunting castles, but I think in a nice way.
Okay.
They entreat mortals to break their spell, but this is always unsuccessful. Now, the Dutch version of white women, which does mean white women, they are mean. So they're actually kind of similar to banshees, and they also are kind of like in the witch category somewhat in the Netherlands. So they are understood as malevolent beings, and they abduct or switch newborns, abduct women, and punish people who have treated them badly. As benevolent beings, So sometimes they can be nice. They may aid in childbirth or offer good advice. So they're like doulas.
Wow.
And
really wake up in the middle of the night and there's a ghost just being like...
and push.
Yeah, just being like, if you just do a 7-minute workout a day, you get a sick burn, you feel better, and it's really easy to do. Like, thanks for the advice.
Wait, what does that have to do with birthing newborns?
No, you said
just offering good advice. Yeah, that is good advice.
Just wake up and they're like,
yeah,
hey, put all your money in Friendster. It's coming back. It's coming back
That's
big.
bad advice.
It's coming back big. Well, maybe they're right.
That could be. Okay, so, and then to get to La Llorona before I move into the traditional roadside women in white. So, La Llorona is a story that's it became popular in North and South America, and it's often linked to Hispanic cultures of all sorts. They have kind of like different versions of the story.
Okay.
Sometimes they're just little details that have changed. But basically, a woman drowned her kids to be with a man that she loved. And then when he was like, no, thanks anyway, she drowned herself.
Oh.
So then when she got to the pearly gates, she wasn't allowed to go into heaven because she had drowned her children. And then she's forced to wander the earth for all eternity to search for her murdered offspring. And her constant weeping is what gives her the name La Llorona, because it means weeping woman.
Oh my God.
And so in some versions, she will kidnap wandering children who resemble her own or children who disobey their parents. People who claim to have seen her say she only appears at night near rivers or lakes in Mexico. Some say that those who hear her weeping are marked for death. So again, a little bit of a banshee thing.
Yeah, a little bit like you got a curse. Yeah. And it's not your own fault. Like, you might just be trying to find your beach ball.
Oh, totally.
And then you hear some weeping and you're like,
no, that's all you're reading. Yeah.
I didn't hear that.
All right, and now here is a hodgepodge of more traditional roadside women in white that I find interesting.
Real quick.
Yes.
You think that parents go like, you be good or I'm going to leave you on the side of the road for La Llorona?
Yeah, why not?
Right?
Yeah, like you're friends with Witchy Mambo.
Yeah, Witchy Mambo.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have friends.
I love Witchy
who
Mambo.
used to tell their kids, be good, or I'm going to leave you on the side of the road for Witchy Mambo to
I
get.
love that so much. I think it's so funny.
Witchy Mambo.
It's so
witchy.
Good.
Even witchy.
I know.
But why Mambo? I'm going to have to find
It's so
out.
funny.
I'm going to have to find out if there's more to the story there.
Or it was just like a thing that came out, and then they were like, yeah, it worked, I guess.
Damn it, kids, we're going to this nation's capital. You'll be good.
Yeah, or Witchy Mambo's coming.
Witchy Mambo.
Yeah, I love it. Okay.
The birthplace of our nation.
Yeah. All right, this one I just mentioned because I thought that this was like the most mid-1800s thing ever. This is a story from Madisonville, Louisiana called The Silk Lady, and she just haunts a road. There's no need to go into the whole thing, basically. Okay. But I thought that it was not funny, obviously tragic, but a very 1800s way to die was that she was riding down an old logging trail when a snake spooked her horse.
Wow.
Right? That's not good. And so people
final words were, my horse!
So people have reported a woman dressed in a wispy, silky dress, gliding with her feet not touching the ground.
Do you think it was valuable to find a brave horse? You know what I mean? Like, I want a wise, brave horse.
Yes.
One who is not easily spooked.
Exactly. You don't want a horse that's easily spooked.
I lost my sister to a spooked horse.
This seems like it's a pretty famous one. I found a lot about this one when I was Googling and everything, but there wasn't a whole lot in just the Wikipedia page, and I decided to keep it brief since there were so many that I thought had cool stories.
Yeah.
A lot of these, I'm basically going to skip the main thing where it's just like, yeah, she lives on the side of the road. There's usually like a funny detail that I like in a lot of these. Okay. So there's a scary person named the Lady of White Rock Lake, who is described as wearing a water-soaked 1930s evening dress, who appears at night along the side of a drive. And they say that, wait. Oh, yeah, okay. So she asks to be taken to her home in Dallas. She's hitchhiking before disappearing in the car, leaving behind a waterlogged car seat. Oh. So she leaves a soggy car seat in her wake.
That's a gross way to say that, but it's scary in concept. But that's
totally
like
scary.
It's just kind of a weird description to be like, she leaves a soggy car seat behind. It makes it like, I feel like what that really means is not saying she leaves the car seat soggy.
Yeah.
It's as if she was in the back of the car and then you look back and there's another car seat on the car seat.
Oh, I didn't even think of that. I just thought it was funny. There was like a puddle or like a soaked car seat.
It's just funny, like she turns into a soggy car seat and disappears. But like it is scary to be like, she was here, I swear. And you turn around and there's just like
water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're almost acting like ectoplasm.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, totally. So I thought it was both sweet and funny.
Yeah.
Then in Germany, there is a legend of a white lady who was a prince's wife. And then when the prince ran away, she took a wandering minstrel as a lover. Look, haven't we all been there?
Wow.
The prince returned unexpectedly, caught the two lovers, and drowned the minstrel in the moat. He then took his wife and encased her behind a wall in his manor with some food and water so that she wouldn't cheat on him again as he returned to the fighting. Yeah, that'll do it.
What? There's got to be a better way.
I know. Not like cask of Amontillado, this person.
That just kills her, doesn't it? What?
There was food and water back there, William.
Why does she even have to be behind the wall then?
I don't know. Why? I don't know.
Like, let's assume you're good
or just don't give her food and water because she's behind a wall. Like, it sounds, it sounds like she's inside the wall. So then, she died back there. Her spirit now haunts the manor, and when the manor was renovated, the new owners had his builders tear down the wall behind which she was immured. Ooh. The next day, the worker who tore down the wall was working on the roof of the manor when he fell, broke his back, and died. The manor is called Haus Ursel.
What? Say that again?
Haus Ursel.
Haus Ursel.
You heard me.
That's awesome. That has like King Tut type vibes.
Ooh, yeah.
Like you disturb my tomb.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, that's very cool. You're right.
Also a little bit of like a baby duck. Like how a baby duck immediately imprints on like the first thing it sees is like mama. Like I feel like somebody cracked open that tomb.
I forgot it does that. That's so cute.
And it's like they cracked open the tomb. She's like, you.
You. Yeah, that is sweet. Okay, so here's a cool legend of a lady in white from Malta. Okay. So the White Lady of Medina was killed by her lover after she was forced to marry another man. Many have claimed to see her spirit always after 8 o'clock in the evening. She usually appears to children under 8 years old, heartbroken teenage boys, and elderly men. Maybe 80? Why is she obsessed with 8?
Yeah, that's weird.
While she tells the children goodnight and bids them to return home, she advises the teenagers to find another or join her and become part of her shadow, her ghostly followers. She also attempts to lure elderly men into her shadow. Isn't that cool?
The young and the old.
Yeah.
What's with
Pretty
that?
much of all ages, really. It seems just like weird preteens she doesn't like. It's either young children, teens, or old men.
No, didn't you say heartbroken 12-year-olds? Right?
Heartbroken teenagers.
Heartbroken teenagers.
8-year-olds, teenagers, or old men.
8-year-olds, teenagers, or old men. So it seems like basically if you're under 18 or over 65 or something.
Yeah.
Like that feels weird. Those are like the edges of life.
Yes.
Beginning or end of life, you can see this ghost.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Well, that is kind of how they say that we kind of like teach ourselves or like, skeptical ourselves out of seeing those things because it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I guess when you're really young, you don't know that it doesn't make sense. You're not kind of shutting off that possibility to yourself. Maybe when you're a little bit older, perhaps the veil thins.
Yeah. Wait, what movie is it where there's a baby that can see a ghost?
I don't know.
There's a movie where there's like I think the movie's about the ghost, and he's like, oh, the baby can see me, and then like as the baby's growing up, he like stops believing and so stops seeing the ghost.
Oh man,
and the ghost is like,
now it is ringing a bell. Yeah,
what the hell is that?
Oh crap. I don't know.
Whatever. Either way, that sounds like the same thing. I love that's a weird idea.
Yeah.
That like we all used to see ghosts and then we trick ourselves out of it.
I kind of believe that.
You believe we can see ghosts?
I think I believe that in the sense of a lot of like supernatural or mystical things. I think that we do kind of close ourselves off to it because it doesn't make logical sense.
But you are accepting of it, right?
What do you mean?
Like you want to be able to see this stuff if you could.
Yeah.
So aren't you more open?
Yeah.
So then why aren't you able to?
I don't know. Maybe I'm not all the way open.
Consciously, it doesn't make sense on a very subconscious, primal level. We don't allow ourselves to be that open.
Maybe
not open enough.
Yeah, I don't know.
You can want to consciously, but maybe subconsciously, we share an instinct that tells us, "Do not be open."
Maybe
do not allow yourself.
Well, maybe for like a self-preservation thing, or just that it's just because you grow up to, which is right, by the way, I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but you grow up to like believe the things you can see. You know what I mean? It's just kind of like, well, I can't prove that, so why would I believe that? You know?
Yeah, I guess. But then it's also like, what are the ghosts doing around here?
I don't know.
You know, like is Abe Lincoln just being like, I've been dead for so long.
I mean, I really don't know.
I can't do anything, and no one can see me.
I don't know if it's everybody. I don't necessarily think that every single creature ever is just hanging out around here. I don't know.
So many more cool speeches to give, but they can't hear me.
You guys are gonna love them. Okay, and so then this is the last one, and this has a cool visual that people at home will have to look up.
You would believe what happened 68 years ago. He's hyping up his next speech.
Yeah. If only more people can hear me. Won't you open your hearts and minds to me?
I was going to say what happened 74 years ago. But no one listened.
All right, so this is the White Lady of Rochester, New York.
Okay.
She's also known as the Lady of the Lake, and she haunts a park there because it said in the 19th century, her daughter asked if she could go out in the area of the park. I don't think it was the park then. Maybe it was. Who knows? Yeah. Winter parks, whatever. And never came back. And depending on the story, she was either killed by a boyfriend or like a gang of hoodlums or something. That's literally what it said was hoodlums.
Yeah.
And so the White Lady of Rochester is either seen rising from the water of the lake in that park, or with two spectral dogs roaming the park looking for her daughter. Oh. And then this is really cool. This happened like kind of recently. So wind ripped up a part of a tree, and it looks like a lady, kind of like it does kind of look like it. Okay. So people are like, oh my god, the lady in white is back because it's in that park.
Okay.
So it's like her coming through.
Weird.
Oh, I thought I had it pulled up here. Maybe I was looking up James Renner over it. Yeah, it's totally sweet looking. If you Google Lady in White Rochester, it'll come up, and William will put it up on the screen.
Yeah, I'll have it up on the YouTube version.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so the references in pop culture for the Lady in White are there's an episode of Supernatural. I think it was the first one, where there's a Lady in White / like weeping woman, where it's that story. It's like she got rejected by a guy or something, so she drowned her kids in like a fit of madness, and then when she came out of the madness and realized, it was that her boyfriend or husband or something cheated on her, she drowned her kids because she's like, went nuts, came out of it, realized what she did, and then she threw herself off a bridge. Ooh. So then she's on this road that people drive by, and she gets in cars with guys, gets them to make out with her, and then that's proving that all men are cheaters, and she kills them.
Oh God.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So there was that. The Grudge, I guess, is kind of about a lady in white.
Cheater, pumpkin eater, and then she kills them.
Exactly.
Cocks her head.
The Grudge, I guess, is kind of a lady in white kind of situation.
Bit. Yeah.
And then here's a fun one.
Sadako? No. Kayako.
Sweet. Okay, and here's a fun one to end on. There's a white lady parodied in Scary Movie 2, who is the wife of Hugh Kane the ghost, and upon her murder, she also haunts the mansion. She kills Professor Oldman, Tim Curry, but in a comic twist, she is seduced by Shorty and ends up his girlfriend.
Yeah, he makes her wear a bag over her head because she's scary looking.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Great.
There you go.
So that's it.
The idea of women killing their kids by drowning them is like really, really common in pop culture.
Yes.
I've seen it a million places, and it's always terrifying. It's obviously happened in real life a lot. One of the things that this makes me think of, not the drowning aspect, but the like woman on the side of the road thing. In the movie Zodiac, David Fincher's Zodiac, about the Zodiac Killer, there's a scene where a woman, her car breaks down, and the Zodiac picks her up.
Yeah.
He sabotaged her car. Sabotaged.
Yeah.
She gets in his car with her baby.
Yeah.
And he goes like, oh, I didn't realize you had a baby. She goes, yeah, I hope that's okay. Ugh. And he's like, yeah, not a problem.
Gut-wrenching.
She gets in the car and they start driving off. And he's being really quiet and weird.
Yeah.
He drives past the gas station that she thought that he would drop her off at. And she goes, we just passed that. He goes, there's a better one.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, like I know something's wrong here. It's quiet. She's getting more and more afraid. And then just after a beat of silence, he goes, before I kill you, I'm going to throw your baby out the window.
Oh, it's awful.
And she just stares at him stunned.
Yeah.
And then it cuts to another car driving up the road. And just in the light of their headlights, you see the woman who's all now suddenly scraped up.
Yeah.
Her clothes are ripped, running onto the road screaming.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh my God. It happened. He threw the baby out the window. She jumped out after the baby or something. And she's screaming for the car to stop. And then it turns out she jumped out of the car with her baby to save them both. And barely got away. And it feels exactly like that. Except I guess it happened in real life too. But it's one of those things that like it's so frightening. If you've ever driven in the middle of nowhere at night. And all you can see is what your headlights will show you for like 30 feet.
Oh, whatever.
You know, farmland with no street lights.
I don't know how that's legal.
It's really,
It's so dangerous.
It is dangerous.
It's like that by Ryan's dad's house. It was like that in Reading, where we grew up, and I went there for like a yoga retreat a couple months ago. It's so dark and dangerous.
I both am terrified by it and I love it.
Same.
There's something that's weirdly thrilling about only being able to see like an inch in front of your nose.
Yes, but very like, you get used to it. It's funny, I got used to it in like 2 days or by the next day. I mean, like when I first got there, I was like really white knuckling. I mean, when I went to visit Reading where we grew up, and then by the next day I was like driving fine.
The idea of suddenly turning and seeing a person,
oh my God, I know,
in that light, especially one who's like screaming and running toward you, is so like, it makes your blood run cold.
Oh, completely
terrifying. I've heard, weirdly enough, it's stupid, but I've heard it, that if you go to like Amish country, it's terrifying.
God.
Because you'll be driving your car and then you'll just see somebody like in a field. Turn and look at you. It's just like some Amish guy who's walking somewhere.
Freaky.
But like they don't have, there's no lights there. They don't have phones. So like they're not illuminated in any way, shape, or form.
God.
So you do just turn and then there's like a guy in your headlights. Like, what's going on?
Standing in a cornfield.
And it makes perfect sense to them, but I guess it's really scary for like tourists.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
Plus, they don't have Wi-Fi.
Right. What could be scarier than that? All right, guys. Well, thank you for joining us.
There you go.
Follow us on all social media. We're at GTTU Pod on Twitter, Instagram, on Facebook. We have a private Facebook group you guys can join. You can also donate to the show on Patreon if you go to patreon.com/GTTU Pod.
That's right. On your smartphone, you can also just download the Patreon app. Look up GTTU Pod to back us. It helps us out. You contribute monthly, whatever you're comfortable with giving. We could really use the support.
And thank you so much to the people who have joined already.
If you're listening to this on a podcast app, most specifically Apple Podcasts, iTunes, please consider giving us a 5-star rating.
Yes, please.
It's very important in the podcast world to have as many ratings as possible. So if you haven't done it yet, please consider doing it. Our visibility on search engines improves the more ratings we have, especially if we get a bunch all at once.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
So for real, if you guys enjoy this show, please consider spending the next 5 minutes writing a review.
I really appreciate it.
If you're watching the show on YouTube, what you can do is hit the thumbs up button, hit the subscribe button so that you never miss another video from this channel. And of course, no matter where you're listening or watching, please share. Please. That's probably the most important thing that I could even throw out there. The reviews are awesome. They make our day when we read them. I love seeing new subscribers, but it's so important that this show is able to grow and change and reach new people. I think it's a really fun show. I have a great time doing it.
Me too.
But it doesn't really work unless we know that we have a base out there of people that are excited about what we're doing. You feed us, like when they clap for Tinkerbell.
Yeah, exactly. Or for Lady Gaga.
Is that...
It was a thing.
She died on stage and she made him clap?
Yeah.
That sounds horrible.
I know. It wasn't a great era.
We should do an episode all about... somebody reminded me about Sasha Fierce the other day. We should do an episode about when like pop stars develop like a dark
alter
evil
ego
side of themselves.
I'll talk about Chris Gaines.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like if there is something that's actually like some dark mythology about him, that might be a fun weird thing to do.
We can look.
So anyway, that's us. Thank you so much. If you want to reach out to us individually, of course you can. We're all over Instagram and Twitter.
I'm at Chillin' Kristen.
I'm at Haunted Sponge. We will see you next week for another terrifying episode of Guide to the Unknown.
That's right.
But until then, we must travel
back to the netherworld go we. Good night.